6:48 top stories here for Tuesday. The latest talks about letting the University of Rochester keep running East High as the contract to do that is set to run out next year.
Quite the debate here. The superintendent of the Rochester City School District wants this school back under RCSD's control. But some of this meeting here last night, they pointed out the state had to give control of East High to U of R because it had been doing so poorly under RCSD leadership. They also point out that the graduation and dropout rates have improved ever since U of R took over.
We've raised the graduation rate from 33% in 4 years, so a 4-year graduation rate, meaning that's how the state counts it, from 33% up to 80% in 4 years.
That was the assistant superintendent. She also adds that the dropout rate is down to 12% because it had been 41% when the university first took over. Earlier this month, RCSD Superintendent Dr. Carmine Peluso had made his pitch to the Board of Education on why East High should come back under the district's control, saying that some of it comes down to financials, efficiency. Also, he claims that it would be foolish to remove the elements of the school that do work.
If you live in Victor this spring, you'll have the chance to vote on whether the town can and should spend $1 million on a parcel of land on Brace Road. News 8 previously did stories on this, reporting on the town passing a resolution to buy the property in hopes to build a new highway facility on it. At the time, the supervisor, Jack Marin, said it made sense considering the town already owns 25 acres of land next to the 11.9 it wants to take over. We heard from some neighbors, though, saying they're concerned the resolution passed without making that information all public. A petition was signed, brought to the board with more than 500 signatures. That got approved last night, paving the way for a public vote, and that for now is scheduled for late April.
Now, watching some of the nation's top headlines, New Hampshire primary polling locations officially opened this morning for a day full of voting, and it could have a big impact on the outcome of the race for Republican presidential nomination. Former President Donald Trump and South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley going head-to-head in the nation's first primary, as Trump has already sailed to a major victory in last week's Iowa caucuses, while Haley, she hopes for an upset in today's voting.
Out of Washington, the U.S. Supreme Court has ruled 5-4 that border agents can cut through razor wire installed at the border by Texas officials. That state argued it needed the wire there because the federal government has failed to stop the flow of migrants. Some of these migrants have been injured crossing the wire, and the Justice Department has also added the barrier hampers the ability to patrol that border. Some more headlines come up here momentarily in the news. For now, here's James' quick update on that forecast. You say on some of our graphics, mostly snow on the way.
Mostly snow, yeah, but we're seeing a lot of pink show up on our radar. I was just checking some surface observations, all important to see what's actually making it down to the ground, as what we show you are just estimates. Sleet right now is the big winner across the Chautauqua Ridge. Otherwise, Buffalo starting to get into some snow that is all heading in our direction. We're going to call for about an inch of slushy snowfall. It's a heavy, wet snow, and a lot of it just falling on what's already come down. The treated blacktop should generally be in good shape. We'll take a look at the 8-day forecast at the end of the show. Brennan, how are the roads looking right now?
Mostly okay, James, out on the expressways, but out on the west side, a crash just reported within the last 30 seconds or so. Mount Read Boulevard at Emerson Street. We'll bring an update on that. If anything else starts to build with congestion or slowdowns on 390, 490, and 590 when we see you at 725.
As Governor Hochul renews her commitment to protect reproductive rights, the activists have gathered here in the heart of downtown Rochester, pledging their support as well. This marks 51 years since the monumental Supreme Court decision in Roe v. Wade protecting the right to have an abortion. But in 2022, the High Court overturned that ruling. Since then, nearly 24 states have restricted access even further or completely banned abortions. Officials with Planned Parenthood helped to host the rally last night in our area, saying that it is important now more than ever to push for reproductive and healthcare rights.
We are seeing a lot of folks from out of state who are traveling hundreds and sometimes thousands of miles just to access reproductive care. We have also expanded our gender-affirming hormonal care recently within our affiliate. But primarily what we're seeing is a necessity to increase services to meet the needs of folks who are coming to us for life-saving health care related to reproductive and sexual health.
Abortions are still legal here in New York State, and the activists here say they plan to go to Albany this week and push lawmakers to pass even further legislation that would protect reproductive rights.
A man who works for the city of Rochester as a part-time Pathways to Peace outreach worker has been arrested on a weapons charge. Police tell us 46-year-old Timothy Jackson was taken into custody after officers found a loaded handgun during a search of a home on Wilmot Street. A woman, 55 years old, Melanie White, was also arrested following the search and charged with criminal possession of a gun.
Happening today, Rochester Mayor Malik Evans will provide an update regarding public safety in the city. The mayor and his team will discuss crime prevention and anti-violence campaigns. That will happen this morning at 10 a.m. Of course, stay with News 8 for updates. We'll have the latest at noon and then again on our website, rochesterfirst.com.
Federal and local officials are coming together to call on CSX to fix a bridge in Ogden. Last year, the state DOT found dangerous structural deficiencies with the Gillett Road Bridge and contacted the rail company to make the repairs. State officials say because CSX did not take any action, the bridge had to be closed indefinitely. CSX claims there hasn't been any rail operation in that spot in decades, adding the state improved the bridge in 1966, citing a New York State railroad law which says further improvements to a structure like that one be maintained by the state, the superintendent of public works. Despite that, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer paid a visit demanding work be done.
It's a tremendous inconvenience, and sometimes it's been dangerous to the people of these towns not to have this bridge fixed. So we're going to do everything we can to get it fixed.
Back and forth continues in a statement. CSX says safety is a priority and it will continue to work with lawmakers and the county. Taking you inside the Buffalo Huddle, the offseason isn't officially here yet league-wide. The Bills have a lot to face, though, dealing with more than 20 players on the roster turning into free agents. Safety Micah Hyde is one of them. So he could return to Buffalo, go to another franchise, or decide his playing career is done. At 33, he missed nearly all of last season with a neck injury, and he's been a pillar in Buffalo since he arrived in 2017. We know that. Helping to turn the Bills into a perennial playoff team and just helping to change the overall culture.
We first got here, I'm walking in here like, man, what the hell am I doing? Why am I doing? I don't know, whatever. But ended up being one of the best decisions I ever made. This is a very, very special place, and they needed some fresh faces to come in here and appreciate Buffalo for what it is. And I think that we saw that. We helped the city of Buffalo, and Buffalo helped us.
His partner in the backfield over the last 7 seasons, Jordan Poyer, he's still under contract for the upcoming season. The two have been heavily touted as one of the best duos in the NFL, so we'll see what answers there come from the GM and the coach there heading into the offseason.
That's got to be a hard life.
Yeah.
You just have you're 33 years old. Yeah. You feel like you're in the prime, but in football terms, kind of on the downside.
Yeah. No, it's tough. I can only imagine at my age, our age, being told like, you're too old to do what you like.
Yeah, to retire. I'm retiring after this snow this afternoon.
Is that it? Yeah.
It's going to be a headache.
This is what pushes you over the edge?
Yeah, 33. It's a weird day. It's 33 degrees, but we're still calling for snow because the atmosphere above our heads is below freezing. So I think it snows, even though with those temperatures. It's going to be a slushy afternoon, some minor accumulations on roadways. I do expect it to be slick. Winter weather advisories for the Finger Lakes because of maybe some sleet and ice there. So let's get through today, and then we're generally coasting along. Very mild 40s, and then we've got rain for a lot of this week.
All right, thank you, James. Be safe out there, everybody, and thank you for watching us here for Sunrise. We'll check the weather in your news at 7:25.
Yeah, so don't go anywhere. And CBS Mornings is next.
Follow News 8 wherever you are on RochesterFirst.com, Facebook, Twitter, and on our app for news and weather.